more goaltenders here than normally you would. What's your plan for the weekend to keep them all in the games and stuff?
Yeah, everybody's going to get in. We still, Seamus and I, Jason are going to talk about that. We have an idea of what we're going to do. Everyone will be in. We still don't know for sure how we're going to do it. Most likely, two goalies will get a game, and then we'll split the third game. Like full game, one guy, whoever it is, will play tomorrow. Game two will be a full game, and then we'll split the third game. That's how we're going to go about it. Still don't know. We have an idea, but not for sure yet.
What is the mentality here as you've gone through two practices, as you move into games? I mean, it's the first game. Some of these guys have played for a while.
Yeah. I think we had a team meeting about that this morning. Not couple things we're going to introduce tomorrow that are probably going to be a little different for the guys in the neutral zone. D zone will relatively be the same, but more, not so much worry about the structure of it. We want to be organized for sure, but it's more habits, the foundation that we want to play with, the things our staff talk about a lot of pressuring the puck, being relentless on the puck, reloads. So there's clips of this morning what that looks like, and then playing fast and explaining to the guys what we mean by playing fast. In North, you guys could see that it's a really good skating group. A lot of guys that have been here before. We should be able to play fast, and I think the guys know that. But it was just going through the video and then get to the game and understanding there's going to be mistakes out there. We're not really concerned about the mistakes, but the compete level, the puck pressure, reloading, being above the puck, kind of that never out of it mentality. And I think the guys are guys from last year, first two practices. I know it's just practice, but I think all those guys look great. Really skating, really competing, kind of setting the standard for the younger kids that are able to play in the tournament for their first time. Like I said yesterday, I don't want anyone to be, gripping their stick too tight. I know there'll be a lot of people here, but just go out there and play.
A lot of the guys that you'll have on the power play are guys you coached in Rochester, aren't they? So
Yeah, I just told them, I
together a
said,
good
we
power-
better be at 50% for this tournament, or I'm going to be on Vinny.
But I mean, from a structure standpoint, they know.
Yeah,
what to
they know.
expect.
Like you just see them out there for the 5-10 minutes that we worked on it. A lot of those guys played in those spots. It's a little different now with Helly being in the bumper, just with the way the hands match up. Now that play from the goal line to the bumper is there. A lot of times we had all lefties. It just worked out that way. But now the hands line up really well, which I think helps, gives you more options when the puck goes low. So we're excited to see them, but the pressure's on them. I told them.
You talked a little about Victor yesterday. Before he went down last year, just what stood out about the way he played? What intrigued you, I guess? About
Yeah,
his talent?
he's just he loves hockey. Loves being at the rink. He's hyper competitive for his version of compete. He's not overly big in stature, but he plays a lot bigger than his size. And it was unfortunate because he was, I think he had 22 points in 33, 34 games. He was on pace for a career year. Huge loss, but at the same time, it's how you respond from that. And I thought he had a really big summer. He looks great. He won't play tomorrow. He's close, but he's still not available to play.
How did Noah Ostlund look in his NHL time to you, and what does he need to do to find a role at that level?
Yeah, Noah, I thought he earned his opportunity. He had the really unfortunate injury, missed almost 3 months, came back, and really, it's hard for a young player in the American League to do what he did during that stretch. He really carried our team, played as a number 1C as a 20-year-old, and getting hard matchups on the road, and I think he had it was over a point a game for a 2-month stretch. And then I thought when he went up there, he did the things that he did. Wasn't on the power play, didn't PK, but I thought he was really responsible away from the puck. He's, a really good 200-foot center. He's smart, really responsible. He's always above the puck. You know, I told him earlier in the year I almost want him, never said this to the player, but cheat a little more for offense because he's always below the puck on breakouts. He's above the puck. You know, we ended up using him in Roch as a matchup guy. Like, he was comfortable playing. Face-offs would probably be the biggest thing for him. You know, when you get up to the next level, you know, that's probably the biggest thing. Especially, you know, if you're a depth player or wherever he is in the lineup. You get tough matchups on the road. You're playing against first lines. You got to be able to win face-offs. So I think that's the biggest thing. I think he worked really hard. Looks great out here. So excited for him.
If you run Novikov and Merca together, that would obviously be pretty interesting. Just what intrigues you about getting a chance to see Merca in, you know, game situations?
Yeah, just the size, and I think his natural instincts are to defend. I think he, you know, especially for young players, it's easier said than done knowing what your identity is, and I think he understands that just talking with him and talking with the organization. I think he knows his timeline to get to the NHL's to be, not that he doesn't have skill, but when you're 6'6", you got to be able to defend, be hard to play against. So I'm looking more at those things away from the puck this tournament to see him and where he's at. But he practices really hard. I know he had just from the time we were at development camp to, I think he put on 5 to 7 pounds, so worked really hard. He's had a good few days, so excited to see him.
A guy like Matteo Costantini, what or how will the Prospects Challenge benefit him first off, making the jump from college to pro?
Yeah, I think it's, for one, he played at a really good program, Western Michigan, my old school, so I was excited about that. But he, you know, college hockey, I think, really does his journey. Played at 2 different schools. College has become, I don't want to say the AHL, but the league that he plays in, NCHC, Big Ten, I mean, you're talking about 10 to 15 kids drafted in the NHL in that league. Played for a really good coach, and Pat Ferschweiler, and I think he's an older player, and it's an opportunity for him to come in and showcase himself to our staff and in management of the work he put in. And I'm excited to see him play. I've heard really good things from his college coaching staff. He's had a really good couple days, and not just for him, but all of our players. It's an opportunity. I think that's what Leone and Kevin talked about. You know, development camp's over. Now it's time. It starts.
What will Matteo bring to the Amherst this fall?
Yeah, I think he has a unique ability to play both positions, center and forward, or winger position. But I think what I've liked in the first couple of days is he's relentless on the puck. Like, that's the way we want to play, and anyone who watched Rochester play, like, we're just stay on, pressure the puck, stay on the puck. You're kind of the never out of it mentality, and he's got a really good stick. He could really shoot it, and no, I'm excited to see him tomorrow.
What do you think you guys are getting in Red Savage?
Red. I coach Red at the national program. I have a really good relationship with Red, and the one word that comes to mind is he's a warrior. You know, he's wore a letter at Michigan State. Was a part of, you know, the culture change there and what that program has done, and he's selfless team player. I would say almost similar to Fiedler Schultz. You know, play the game the right way. He's really good on face-offs. He's a really good penalty killer, late game situations. Had a tough injury in college, you know, the second half of this year. But I know how hard he works in the summer, and I know how excited he is to be here and for the opportunity to show, you know, our staff. And I told our staff I'm removing myself from with Red, because I know him. I know what type of player he is, and just for them to see, you know, how he could help the team.
Were you surprised that you guys had an opportunity to get him in the organization?
Yeah, I was really excited. You know, when Jason called me and, you know, asked about Red, and, you know, Red was one of my favorite players I've ever coached there. And having an opportunity to get the person that he is, the character, and, what has been built in Rochester, starting from Seth 4 years ago, just to have really good people in the room that care about the team first. And no, I was thrilled.
When it comes to Noah Ostlund, has that dedication to the defensive side been something that you've seen him get better at? 'Cause I think when he was drafted, he was more of a
Yeah, he
playmaker.
was. I think with Noah, I think it's just his natural instinct almost. Like I think, you know, you see the skill, you see the skating, the puck protection. He's worked really hard on his shot, but I'm sure he had really good coaches at a young age that taught him the right way to play. And his natural instinct is not that he doesn't have offense, but he just plays the game the right way. He doesn't loop away from pucks. He stops on pucks. He's responsible. He's a winning hockey player, and I really appreciate that about him. And you really saw, it was good to see the hard work that he put in to show the offensive side, because I know he started the season with, I think he had 1 point in 11 games, and it's hard as a player, first round pick, to, you know, there's probably doubts and things like that, but he stuck with it and had a great season for us.
When you think about Consta and you kind of project, you know, a few years down the road, what kind of NHLer, like, what type of role do you think he could fill? Because it seems like you said yesterday, he's played center and wing. He's got.
Yeah, I think his natural position is center. I do. I think just part of that last year was getting him, and it's a huge responsibility to play center. I think it started with the face-offs. You know, I think he was, you know, around under 40%, and it's tough when you're not starting from the puck, a skilled player, you're chasing the game, you know, your first 20 seconds of your shift, you're trying to get the puck back. But, you know, you see it out there today. I think he's gotten quicker, especially like we talked about yesterday, out of turns. He's creating more time and space for himself, but he has the ability to be a 200-foot center. To, you know, his shot is, you see the shot, the strength, his competitiveness. And I go back to playoffs last year. He's arguably our best player as a 19-year-old in the AHL. He has a swagger to him in a good way. He has a lot of confidence, and yeah, he's got a chance to be a really good player. But I believe he's a center for sure. Has the ability to transport the puck in the neutral zone. There's times last year where it was a little slower. I think he's playing the game faster as he was at the end of the year. Now you see at development camp. But he looks really good. Had a big summer.